Hi guys, Darren and Shaun again on our last video, just on some finer points around managing your own business during these tough times. You know, the government has helped us with many packages, as you've seen, the JobKeeper, the Job Seeker, the government loans, the payroll tax concessions. But end of the day, we've all got to look after our own businesses and manage our own cash flows. So we thought we would just talk through a couple of other items that you need to be aware of, and that you will need help, and you should go and talk to your own accountants and advisors about this. So Shaun, always, but probably now more important than ever, cash is king, right?
Yeah, so Darren, 100%. The most important thing for all businesses at the moment is preserving cash flow and making sure you've got enough cash flow to survive, to get through the other side of this crisis. Now, the speed and impact of the coronavirus crisis has caught everyone off guard. Even, the most pessimistic doomdayer could not have predicted that 3 weeks ago we would be here. So most businesses, I'm sure, have still got their heads spinning. They're worried about their own families. They're worried about their staff. There's a lot of anxiety out there. However, I encourage people now to take stock. It's time to focus in on your own business, look at your cash flow, preserve it to make sure that you can get through to the other side. Yeah. And I think the key thing for businesses immediately to focus on is to defer all non-essential payments. So some easy examples there. First of all is tax payments. So in our experience, and we've spoken to the AHO about many of our clients, they have been very cooperative in allowing businesses to defer paying current tax debts and also current and future business activity statement debts. So deferring tax payments is number one. All of the banks have also offered 6-month deferrals on loan payments, whether they be home mortgages, equipment finance and business loans. So again, that's another payment that can be deferred to preserve cash flow for businesses. Other items to look at will be on a business by business basis. I think it's important, go through your profit and loss, go through your balance sheet, identify any cash payments that are either non-essential or can be deferred, and action them immediately. Even if you look at your cash at bank balance and you think, oh no, I'm okay, I've got a month or two's cash flow there. We don't know when this crisis is going to end. We don't know what the recovery looks like. So I'm urging all of my clients, exercise caution, preserve cash where you can.
And I think Scott Morrison on Sunday talked about a 6-month time frame where we might be in this state of crisis and flux. So that's a lot of cash flow that people are going to need to find and support. And I think it's important that people understand all the packages and how they interact with their cash flow, because most businesses, when you go through their expense lines, their wages, their rent and their bank payments make up a considerable component of their expenses. And if we can manage those by the banks giving relief, by the government's giving wage relief, and by landlords giving some rent holidays or working with their tenants, you can see how people are going to survive this. They just need to get the right advice and be focused and manage their business clearly every day.
100%. And rent is one we didn't mention earlier that you just mentioned there. So rent is another big recurrent expense for businesses. Yes. Again, my experience, many businesses around Cairns have spoken to their landlord and either been given concessional rent terms or a rent holiday, to help them get through this crisis. Yep. Something I think also is important to make businesses aware of is dealing with financiers. Perhaps that's in relation to current business debt, or it may be in managing debt that businesses take on through some of the loan programs we've spoken about already to get through the coronavirus crisis. Many businesses don't keep current cash flow forecasts. I would encourage every single business to have a minimum, a 13-week rolling cash flow forecast, so you can see where your business is going to be in 3 months' time. As you rightly point out, the Prime Minister is making us aware that many of the restrictions and many of the changes to business and everyday life that are brought in now could last up to 6 months. Even if that period is shorter than 6 months, we're not going to get to the end of this and click our fingers and it be business as usual. You know, the recovery time, the time for businesses to re-establish, the time for tourism to recommence, it is going to be a very long recovery period. Businesses need to preserve all the cash they have now to A, help them get through that crisis, and B, allow them to take advantage of any opportunities in their industry once the crisis is over.
And I think it's also worth mentioning that all of the providers of the loans and government and Centrelink are under massive pressure to deliver. I know I saw a statistic last night that QRider have already received about 7,000 loan applications. Now, they haven't got that many people to administer that program, so people are going to need to be patient to see how they go with the application and make sure that when they are applying, they're giving all the information up front, because that program is obviously a first in, best dressed basis. So you want to get the best chance of getting that, and you put all your information in and be patient. Same as with the financiers, the banks. They've got many staff, but they've got many applications way above their normal numbers. So people need to exercise a bit of patience, and just be a reasonable person during this process, because it'll be very tough for everyone involved, the businesses and the financiers on all sides.
Yeah, and we've all seen, how quickly this crisis has evolved. I remember only a week and a half ago now watching a Prime Ministerial press conference on Sunday night, which meant that many of our clients who operate restaurants and hotels who had already shut for the night, unbeknown to them, were never going to reopen their business again. That's very, very hard to comprehend the speed and scale of what's happening. So whilst, we can forecast and we can try and predict what's happening, we really need to be ready for all contingencies. We need to access all the support that we can through government programs and loans that's available, and we need to give ourselves the best chance to survive, which means talking to your advisors, engaging with your staff, and keep your business financial records and a cash flow up to date. The rules have changed in business and in finance pretty much overnight. So the old rules around debt covenants and some of those types of things, whilst still relevant to a degree, are really out the window. Everything I'm hearing when I'm talking to clients, I'm talking to other professional advisors, when I'm talking to financiers, is financiers are going to help those businesses that they've got confidence are looking after themselves and their own finances. So that makes it even more important to make sure everyone's got their own house in order, knows where their cash flow is going, so that if they need additional financial support, the government and the banks have got the confidence to give them that support.
Great, thanks, Shaun. So guys, just in summary, I think a few takeaways. Cash is king. Managing your own cash flow and knowing your cash flow for the next 13 weeks out from any one point is critical. Reach out to your own accountants, talk to them about giving you a cash flow model that you can use so that you know exactly where your cash balances are going to be for the next 13 weeks. And when we say rolling, we mean 13 weeks ongoing. So next week, you'll add on the next week, which is week 14, so that at any point you know your future 13 weeks cash requirements. And please be patient. All accounting firms are being smashed at the moment with requirements trying to help their clients. Most of us are working from home, which means things take longer to deliver. I think the whole community are doing their best at delivering outcomes for everybody, and we all need everybody to be patient, do a bit of self-help, look at our videos, look at the links that we're going to give you as part of our video series, which will give you a lot of information and allow you to help yourselves, and then just keep seeking advice. Email, phone, talk to your own accountants, and we'll all get through this together. I'd just like to thank the groups we've been working with. There's the Chamber of Commerce, TTNQ, Advanced Cairns, the Cairns Regional Council, Warren Ench, and Michael Healy, as well as the Cairns Post for keeping us all abreast of what's happening. All these groups are out there trying to help us all survive and understand what we can do, and many of them are working behind the scenes to ensure that governments are aware of what's happening in our little area, and making sure that governments are aware of what we need to both survive this and come out the other end in the best possible light. So thank you for listening. Shaun, any last thoughts, mate?
I know it's difficult to imagine at the moment, Darren, and certainly our immediate focus needs to be surviving this coronavirus crisis, which I think unfortunately has got a period to run. Longer term, there's definitely blue sky on the horizon for Cairns. If we can continue to limit the rate of infection in our local region, I think a Cairns over the longer term, could become attractive for migration. So domestically, we're a great city to live. We all love living here, low population density, clean. The brand Cairns will come through this strong. Whilst international tourism is going to be restricted practically for probably 2 or 3 years, there are some great domestic tourism opportunities. Again, with what's happening in Sydney and Melbourne, I'm hopeful that North Queensland is going to be seen as a natural tourism destination for people who want a holiday, and at the end of this, we're all going to need one. So hopefully there's some domestic opportunities there as well. And our ag sector, which was kicking goals before this, I think we're going to see more opportunity in that sector, and a diversity in what we are farming. So the good news for Cairns is that once this crisis is over, I think we've got some natural advantages there. There's potential for the government to double down on their investment in our Navy to stimulate some more economic development, and we know we've got some very significant projects secured for that as well. So there is, hopefully some blue sky ahead for us. I think the key thing is now everyone needs to work together. We need as many big Cairns businesses to survive this as possible, so we're all ready to come out the other side and take advantage of the opportunities in the post-coronavirus world.
Great. Thank you, mate.